Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the OSU Roundup. Casey Kendrick along with Coach Holliday. Coming up, we'll hear a little bit from the men's golf program as they get ready to defend their title, and Kenny Gajewski coming up as they head to a super regional. But the men headed to Big 12s, and obviously that's coming up this week. An exciting time as postseason is finally upon us, Coach. But let's start with Baylor. Thursday night, Thursday, Friday, try to get in Saturday, and man, on Thursday night, what a display.
Yeah, we came out swinging on Thursday. You know, you had the shorter week, shorter turnaround, and we went ahead and gave Joe Lenhart the ball. A kid that's done a lot of good things in this program, a senior pitcher who is really starting to feel the best he's felt all year. His arm has bounced back from some tendonitis early in the year. He went out and gave us a really good start against an outstanding Baylor team. Pitched his way deep into the game, and then when you look at the offensive side of the game, we were pretty effective, scoring multiple runs, multiple innings, and ran out to what ended up being a pretty nice game one victory.
You know, it's easy to say, well, you got out big, you guys just went on and cruised, but ultimately, Coach, it is extremely impressive. 12 of your first 13 runs came with 2 outs.
Well, it's interesting because we've been a team that has been pretty home run oriented. And I think in that particular game Thursday, we scored in multiple ways. We scored with 2 out hits. We scored with 2 out RBI base hits. We scored with a number of guys drawing walks and having quality at bats. And then obviously there were some home runs mixed in. But when you look at the way we attacked on Thursday night, we did a good job in 1 through 9 getting on base, 1 through 9 and making a lot of contact, and then scoring in multiple ways, not just relying on the big fly.
And you guys, of course, Lenhart, we said, had a tremendous outing, but then Mitchell Stone came in and finished it up.
Well, Mitchell's outing was really one of the highlights of the night when you think back to what that outing can do for him moving forward into the conference tournament, and obviously just forward with his own career. Mitchell's been an incredible worker in the rotation early in the year, came out of the rotation to work on a few things, and his 3 innings, I thought, on Thursday night were super positive for him and for our team.
And you look too, Coach McCusker and Tank had the home run, the grand slam. Great crowd, lead you into game 2. And this was a little tighter. A great outing by Elliott again, but a 5-4 win, and Hewitt hits his first home run.
Well, Saturday's game, Friday's game, game 2, for me was one of the best all-around moments that we've had in that ballpark across many generations of Cowboy players. When you looked at the great alumni that were back in the stands, a senior day for a lot of awesome seniors, and then you look at the quality of play on the field. That was one of the better baseball games I remember. Jensen Elliott pitches a gem, really found his legs from the 4th inning on. Max Hewitt comes off the bench and delivers a clutch, kind of a heroic home run, and just an incredible team victory, one of the best crowds we've had in some time. And definitely the way that you want to remember the last game played in Alley P. Reynolds.
Absolutely. The very last game of the regular season to be played at Alley P this season, certainly, but hopefully hoping for a regional back here in Stillwater. Take a break, come back. We'll talk about the Big 12 tournament and the next part of the season right after this. The OSU Roundup is brought to you by Bud Light, game day's favorite light lager. By the Visit StillwaterOK.org, Shop, Dine, and Stay partners. Be sure to shop, dine, and stay in America's friendliest college town. By Mercy Health, your life is our life's work. And by OG&E, power at the speed of life.
2 home runs on the year. He rips that up the middle. Diving play by Nava, got her to second. In time! That's a winner for Oklahoma State!
Welcome back. Talking to Coach Holliday. And, Coach, you guys obviously headed to Oklahoma City. You got this tournament going on. It's the 3rd part of the season, if you will, the 3rd season. A lot of coaches look at non-conference, conference, and the postseason. Real quickly, I want to talk about your seniors, but just in general, this team going into postseason really gained some major momentum headed that direction.
Well, the last 5 weeks of the regular season, we really took on some great challenges. I'm incredibly proud of the way this group responded, not just with the positive weekends and the great wins, but also how they handled losses, what we learned from the trip to Lubbock where we were swept by an outstanding Texas Tech team, the way we bounced back and went to Corvallis and swept an outstanding Oregon State team, and then all the other pivotal series with teams like Baylor and Texas and so on. But a lot of that credit should go to the seniors on this team and in this program. Kids like Joe Lenhart, Colin Simpson, who we can't say enough about, a kid in Christian Funk who's delivered in his 2 years with our program, a kid like Bryce Carter, who in one short season has really immersed himself into our team and into Oklahoma State baseball culture. Those kids deserve a lot of the credit, and the example they set, the work ethic that's on display, the way they treat other people, and really some of the other kids that came in with them in their fourth year that aren't senior by class, but they are senior by fourth year experience. They provided us great leadership during that stretch, and I don't think you can overlook and understate the importance to a ball club when the key players on your team are providing some of the best examples of what this is all about.
You know, it's interesting too, Coach, as you were saying that, I was thinking, you know, obviously the seniors do have to be the leaders, and those are the kids that set the tone. But you got to have an underclass group that's willing to follow too. And when you put it all together, it just looks like, well, that really bodes well for the future.
Well, it's a team, the seniors, but then you have a great junior class. It's a special group of kids. I like these guys. I've liked them all year long. Always felt optimistic about what we can do because of the kids. The kids give you reason to believe. And, you know, as we head down to Oklahoma City for what I think is one of the best conference tournaments in the country, you look at the brackets and you look at the quality of teams, man, there are some good baseball teams in this tournament. And our 4-team bracket of ourselves, Baylor, TCU, and Oklahoma, when you look across that, there's outstanding pitching. There's extremely talented athletes. There's some teams that have had great stretches during the season, and I think those are all very well-coached teams to go along with it. So should be great baseball. Bricktown, Oklahoma City, great place to go play. And as you said, it's the next chapter in this season's story.
They're going to be exciting, no doubt about it. Coach, best of luck in Oklahoma City and best of luck beyond as well. Appreciate that. Hey, we need to take a break. Again, coming up, we're going to talk a little bit about the men's golf trying to defend a championship, and we're going to talk to Kenny Gajewski as we continue right after this.
The walk, Bayless and Chow. Montgomery down the line and right. Turning on the Jets, Bayless trying to get home, and she does. 1-zip Cowgirls.
Well, we continue some fantastic conversation on the diamond as Kenny G joins us now talking about Oklahoma State women's softball. And Coach, what a weekend. And, you know, I know we're going to talk about the games, we're going to talk about the excitement and how some of those games unfolded, but just in general, finally a regional back in Stillwater, the incredible crowd, and I mean, you guys just performed at such a high level. It was just a great weekend.
Well, it was a great weekend, obviously, like you said. And first off, I'd like to just give a shout out to the people behind the scenes who made this thing happen, because it wasn't easy. We've got a facility that is really good, but it's not up to par on certain things when you, as far as hosting a regional, when having our regular home games, we manage that. But the people behind the scenes, my media boss, Jesse Martin, and the things that he did with everybody to, first of all, win the bid to get one here. I know that we earned that, but you still have to submit a bid and win the bid. And the people that rallied together to make this thing happen is just awesome. So I thank them again. But just a really cool environment, really cool atmosphere here with baseball and softball and the Special Olympics and everything that's going on here. It was just a perfect storm.
Let's talk about your first one, Coach. You guys do take on BYU on Thursday. A 3-1 game. You know, Maddie Sue got her 200th RBI, only the 6th player in Big 12 history to accomplish that. Incredible. I mean, she's played so many consecutive games. This young lady's been special. But between her and Chow and just in general, a very good BYU team, that was a scrappy win. Yeah,
you know, the BYU group, they're a group that goes to a regional every single year, so they know what it's like to be in this. They're not intimidated by the environment, by the crowd, and I'm just happy with the way Chow threw. You know, she got a lot on her shoulders here, and she handled that well, gave us a chance. We had some big hits. Sue just continues, you know, to do. She's just a clutch performer. Made some great plays. We played well enough to get out of that first game and just put ourselves in a great spot.
Curious going in, Coach, just I mean, you knew what you knew about your team, but it's postseason, it's different when it gets to this point. What did you think you knew, or did you truly know about your team going into that, hey, we're going to be fine here? Or were you afraid maybe the nerves might, because this was a new experience for those kids, at least hosting it was?
Yeah, I was a little cautious, I think would be the right word. I wasn't nervous or worried for them. I was just cautious. I wanted to be aware of how they were acting and they were going about stuff. They seemed to be handling it well. Thought we played a little bit tight in the first. After that, we came out and I was like, whoa, these guys are on it. And I never saw that again at any time. I thought we had some plays at times. I think Kylie was a little bit out of herself as a freshman at short. Had a lot of opportunities, made most of them, but a couple of them miscued on, and they don't go down as errors, but they're mental type errors that cost us runs. And what an opportunity for her to learn, and we can still win.
Absolutely, as the Cowgirls won the first one 3-1. How would they fare against Tulsa in Game 2 and in Game 3? We'll talk about that and more as we continue with the OSU Roundup.
A well-hit ball. That is deep out to left field. The grand slam! 10-8 Pokes.
Well, when we left you, we had talked about the Cowgirls' first game and the first win against BYU 3-1. Coach, then Game 2. This is not the championship game, but in a lot of ways it is. You staying on that high side of that bracket is so important. And, you know, a couple of things. First off, the wind was blowing out for both teams, but it was blowing out. It was a Wild West affair. There is no other way to put it. And you had a couple of young ladies. Clakley gave you the start. Simonek, you know, just gutted it out. And, man, I mean, what an incredible game. It's probably not as clean as you would have wanted, but when it was all said and done from a fan looking on the outside in, the swings of emotion, that was a great game.
Well, I can look back now and say it's one of the funnest games I've ever been a part of, you know, and it's easy to say that when you win and it's important, but when you really look back in the way that our team fought, it is a symbol of who we are. It's a symbol of I say this a lot, who our fans are. We just refuse to lose. We refuse to quit. We will just fight you until we can't fight anymore. The swings in the offense and the defense, it wasn't clean. Like you said, we gave them 5 or 6 runs, literally. And I'm just so proud of where we've come. My first couple of years, we get blown out. We may get run ruled. We fall apart. You have to learn. You have to go through these type things. And to have kids like Maddie Sue and Taylor Lynch who can understand how to keep everybody together, that we'll finish this thing, just keep going. Just kept reminding them to take great at-bats, just be the 21 toughest outs we could ever be. I think a lot of our fans in the 5th, when we went 1, 2, 3, I felt a sigh out of our fans like, oh no. And I'd never felt that. I felt like our kids would come back, and we did. Big performances by Factor, that big grand slam, and is huge. And just, our young kids just continuing to play well. Not to say that our older kids haven't, but our young kids were really good.
Well, it was a slugfest. And you know what's interesting, Coach, is you guys played out of the wrong dugout. There wasn't anything right about you guys being on that side, being the road team. But the last time we went to the College World Series and got to the Super Bowl, we played out of that dugout. So it does have some history there, but it did feel very odd not swinging them last in your own ballpark and looking at it from the other side. How weird was that?
You know, it's something that we practiced here. I remember my first year here, we would practice out of the first base side, and the girls would look at me like, why are we over here? And I'm like, because when we get to this point of postseason and we're going to host, and they didn't believe that then. We did. They didn't. They were having a hard time just trusting us. But I said, we have got to get used to winning and preparing out of this side. So it's something that we've always done. So it was no big deal for them or us.
Second game against Tulsa, championship game to get to the Super Regional. Obviously, Samantha Shaw, 6 scoreless innings, the last 6. Your kids gave you what you needed, and another tight ball game, what you expect from a very well-coached team, as you talked about in Tulsa, and that's just a heck of a win.
Great win, great program win, great performance by Shaw. We actually gave them that run in the first by a miscue and left. Now that Chelsea was coming up hard and the field was wet, and then allowed her to get an extra bag. Otherwise, we give up no runs. Shaw was spectacular, no walks, only one K, but no walks. They fought. We hit. I was told that we hit 55 foul balls. Wow. And I think that tells you about our fight, tells you about our at-bats. We only struck out 3 times against a good arm. We had some moments we just couldn't get the big hits to really score runs, but credit their kid. She was really good, kept us off balance. And credit John for what he does. He's an amazing coach. I have all the respect in the world for him. They make us better. We try to play him each year at least twice. I have all the respect in the world for Tulsa and what they do.
Well, with that, the Cowgirls 3 straight wins. That's the easiest way to get to the Super Regional. And now, Coach, quickly in our final moments here, Florida State, obviously a very good team, going to Tallahassee. Don't count these Cowgirls out.
Reigning national champs. We can't wait. We're not afraid of them. We don't. We respect them, respect their coaching staff, but we're not afraid. We're going to meet them at the front gate. Like we always say, and we always do, we don't care. We'll play anywhere, any field, anytime, in front of your fans. We don't care. We just wanted this opportunity. We got it, and now it's up to us to take advantage.
It's going to be exciting. Best of luck down there. Appreciate the time. We need to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to get a chance to talk to some of the guys involved with the golf team. They're trying to defend their national championship in Fayetteville. We've got that straight ahead.
We're with Victor Hovland, U.S. Amateur Champion, most recently the winner of the Ben Hogan Award, honoring the nation's top collegiate player, of course, low amateur at the Masters. And let's start with the Hogan Award. When you are 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, what do you think will matter the most to you about winning the Hogan Award?
I think just looking back at the list of the players that have won it, you know, the Hogan Award is something that I'm always going to cherish, and hopefully I'll be able to come back to the dinners and see all the new faces coming along, and you know, just to kind of be a part of that, because John Rahm was there, and Doug Gim, who was the last year's winner. There's, you know, people that won the award previously came back and just wanted to be a part of it, and that really speaks volume, I think, of what that award means.
Speaking of the collegiate experience, how do you think the collegiate experience, and that includes what's specific to Oklahoma State, how do you think it's helped you grow in ways that'll benefit you once you go pro?
Yeah, I think just, you know, the courses that we get to play are serious tests and just good experience for us before we turn pro and go out there and compete against better players, but we already do play against very, very skillful players in college. And I think just being in college is almost sometimes more conducive to playing better than it could be if you're a professional. Because when you're a pro, you're kind of by yourself. But in college, you have, you know, 8, 9, 10 teammates with you every day, and you hang around and you make it each other better every day, which is a little different than it is if you're pro. So I think all that stuff helps to just progress and gain experience.
What is it about Oklahoma State that allows young people from a foreign country to come here and thrive and do it immediately?
I think if you come in with just a desire to play golf, I think Oklahoma State is a perfect place, because you got coaches that are, you know, living and just breathing golf every day. And this goes also back to Laban Harris, and Coach Holder has kind of set the tone to what the program is about. Just walking down the clubhouse and seeing all the trophies and looking at all the guys on the wall. You know, Scott Verplank won a tour event while he was in college, and you know, there's so many guys out there that won Player of the Year that came from Oklahoma State. So it's kind of humbling, and it just reminds you that you have to get a lot better all the time.
Is that a standard you'll carry with you when you go professional? Will you always sort of think back to, hey, I have to not only try to play but act at a different standard because I went to Oklahoma State? Is that something that's real?
I mean, a little bit. I certainly carry, you know, the orange colors with pride, and I think I will continue to do after school. You know, just this big part of my life, and I'd say it was one of the best decisions I've ever made coming to school here. So I'll always be, you know, proud to represent Oklahoma State, and hopefully I'll make Oklahoma State proud.
How's it different this year preparing for nationals as the defending champion compared to last?
Honestly, I wouldn't say a whole lot differently. The only thing that's been different so far is that last 2 years, I remember we had a pretty good downtime in between regionals and then leaving for nationals. But this year it's a little different because we just got back home from regionals in Kentucky, and yeah, it's just kind of, you know, we got right off of that tournament, and then now we're leaving to Arkansas tomorrow. So it's going to be a little different, but I think that's a good thing because now we're prepared, because we just came off of the tournament and we got some rest in, and now we're ready to go.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate the time. Best of luck in Fayetteville as you guys try to defend that national championship. Best of luck to them, and we want to say thanks as we wrap things up here to Coach Josh Holliday. Wish them the best in the Big 12 tournament, and to Kitty Gajewski as they head to a Super Regional in Tallahassee. And that's going to do it for us. I'm Casey Kendrick. We'll see you guys next time on the OSU Roundup. The OSU Roundup is brought to you by Bud Light, Game Day's favorite light lager. By the Visit StillwaterOK.org, Shop, Dine, and Stay partners. Be sure to shop, dine, and stay in America's friendliest college town. By Mercy Health, your life is our life's work. And by OG&E, power at the speed of life.